So here in the Maldives, I mentioned turtles are protected by law. They're protected worldwide, also by CITES, so this is the Trade in Endangered Species. This means you cannot sell the products from one country to another. You cannot trade internationally. They're also protected by the Migratory Species Act, which protects animals that move from one country to another in international waters. And the Maldives has signed its name to a Memorandum of Understanding with other Indian Ocean and Southeast Asian countries to say that it will do all in its power to protect the turtles that are alive now and conserve them and help the populations increase. So in this vein, the Maldives has created a law which bans the catching and the killing of all species of sea turtle, both juvenile and adults. And this has been in effect since 1995, and it was renewed in 2005. So this law is still in effect. The eggs, however, are only protected on 14 islands throughout the country. So if they nest on any other island, it is, at the moment, legal to take the eggs from there. The 14 islands that were protected, 11 of them were protected in 2006. So we have 5 in Ba Atoll, 3 in Hadalu, and a few in Ra, and 1 in Ta Atoll. These are mainly uninhabited islands, not many inhabited islands. And then in 2007, a further 3 islands were protected. So these islands, you cannot harvest eggs from those islands. There is a fine if you are caught harvesting eggs. And poaching turtles and the eating of turtle eggs is quite common here. So I'm sure some of you have eaten turtles or turtle eggs before. Just want you to know a few dangers about eating turtles. So turtles, like other animals, they carry a lot of bacteria and parasites in their body. Turtles are especially known for carrying salmonella, which is what you get from eating raw meat. This can make you very sick to your stomach, cause vomiting. The hawksbill turtle, because of their diet, they eat a lot of toxic sponges. So these sponges are toxic to other animals, but the hawksbill is able to digest them. However, this creates something in their body called a Chelonitoxin. The green turtles can also carry this toxin, and this can cause severe food poisoning to anyone that eats it, and even death. Turtles also carry high concentrations of heavy metals and DDT, which is a pesticide, a very dangerous pesticide that's been banned now in the Western world for quite some time. And this is because they're quite high up the food chain, and these pesticides and heavy metals accumulate in the animals that they're eating. And even the eggs are found to carry very high concentrations of pollutants, so they're not very healthy to eat. And the picture on the bottom was from a few years ago, published in Minivan News. So this is a Doni in Malé, and it is full of slaughtered green turtles. And the turtle in the bottom left corner is definitely a juvenile. It's not big enough to be a mature adult. So killing this undersized turtle that hasn't had a chance to contribute to the breeding population, not only are you killing that specific turtle, but you're killing all of its future offspring. So some marine biologists have made an effort to protect nests on their resort islands. So they monitor their nests for their beaches for nests. They protect them. You can see in the bottom right-hand corner, this is a nest on cocoa palm, Dunikolu. So the marine biologist has fenced off the area, put a signboard up saying that this is a turtle nest, please do not step on it, disturb it. And she will check the nest. Generally about 2 months later it will hatch, and this can be a really exciting event for the guests in the hotel. You can gather them for the hatching, watch the baby turtles run down the beach and into the water, and teach them a little bit about turtle biology and how they're important. So this is something really good for the resort and something exciting for both the staff and the guests to get involved with. Nest protection is going on worldwide. These pictures are from Sri Lanka, Costa Rica, and Mexico, and their hatcheries. So eggs have been brought to a safe area Sometimes this happens between the cooperation between an NGO and former poachers. So the poachers are the ones that know the most about the nesting. They know where to find it, how deep it is, when it was laid. So it's good to get them involved in the conservation side. And this is happening worldwide. Again, the eggs are taken and put in a safe place, marked, and then some data is taken on the nest, how many eggs there are, if they hatched, and the turtles are let run down the beach and into the water. So this makes sure that the nests are safe. This is a type of community-based tourism, so getting the community members involved in conserving the population of turtles. It provides income and jobs for them and gives them a sense of leadership in the community as well. So you can take poachers that were once making a bit of money from taking eggs and selling them for food, and you can offer them a little bit more money to take the eggs and put them in a safe place and let them hatch. So this is something that could very easily happen in the country here, involving people who are formerly taking eggs for food and involving them in conservation. So the photo in the right-hand side comes from Kashidu, and a man named Hime. He contacted us because he was interested in protecting turtle nests on his agricultural island. Wanted some information on how to cover the tracks and protect them from poachers, and then now he's protected a number of nests and released the baby turtles to the water. The pet trade. So this is very popular here in the Maldives, not only on local islands but also in Malé, so keeping turtles in your home. This is dangerous for the turtles for a number of reasons. Normally the turtles are taken directly from the nest, so they don't get a chance to imprint their nesting beaches in their mind. So they don't get to run down the beach to the water and remember where their nesting beach is. So if they're released later, it's not known how this will affect them, but they may not be able to find their way back to where they should be nesting. Malnutrition, also very common, so people are feeding them leftovers from their dinner. I've heard of people feeding them bread or boiled eggs or, cooked tuna. This is not their diet, so they don't get the nutrition that they need. Often they're kept in poor water quality, so fresh water, not very clean, maybe overcrowded, which can lead to disease. Which means that they're weak when they are released and may probably fall victim to predators. And they're often kept in very small containers, which leads to poor muscle development. So again, when they're released, they don't have enough muscle to be able to swim to the open ocean, and they will fall victim to predators. And again, it is against the law. Catching and killing any sea turtle, including juveniles, is illegal. And if you do want to keep them, you require a permit. So there are a number of Head Start programs happening around the country, notably in Four Seasons, Naifar Juvenile, and Banyan Tree as well. So you may ask yourself how this is any different than keeping a turtle in your home. The people working at these facilities have special training. They're trained, or they are biologists. The turtles are given ample swimming room to exercise their muscles. They're given a varied diet, a food that they should be eating for that particular age. And they're generally released around 30 centimeters. So normally 1 or 2 hatchlings are taken from each nest. The rest are released to the water. They're kept for around a year and a half. And at 30 centimeters, this is the size when they're normally coming from the open ocean back to the reefs. So they're a little bit bigger, a little bit safer for them to be on the reefs. Again, all of these places have permits to keep turtles, and this is done by trained people. So that's how it differs from keeping turtles in your home. The next danger I'm going to speak about is ghost nets. And as I mentioned, the olive ridley turtle is the #1 turtle we find entangled in marine debris and ghost nets. And the Olive Ridley Project has now been working for around a year to collect data on entangled turtles and nets that we find in the waters here in the Maldives. So ghost nets are either entire nets or bits of fishing net that were either lost accidentally or discarded on purpose. They can float around for years in the ocean, and they can still technically be fishing, so catching fish or other animals, so that's why they're called ghost nets. And nets are not generally used here in the Maldives. Most of the fishing is done by pole and line. So these nets must be floating in from other countries, possibly India, Sri Lanka, African countries. So the Olive Ridley Project is trying to find the source of these nets. And not only are nets a danger for turtles, they're a danger for other animals as well. And they can also damage and smother reefs and introduce invasive species or disease. So what happens to all of these turtles that are tangled in nets? Well, thankfully, many of them can be released if they are found, although many probably do go unnoticed, floating by. LANDAA GIRAAVARU, the Four Seasons, has a sea turtle rehabilitation center where we're in contact with marine biologists and dive teams across the country so that if an injured turtle is found, we can transport the turtle to our facility where it can get some medical attention, strengthen itself, eat some good food so that it's strong and healthy, and can be released a few months later. The most common injury is flipper amputations from the net being wrapped around the flipper. So in many cases, the flipper has to be removed, but this is something that a turtle can recover from. And so Marine Savers, Four Seasons, has, with the cooperation of other marine biologists around the country, recorded the rescue and release of more than 100 olive ridley turtles since 2010. So this is 100 turtles that would have otherwise probably either drowned or died that were released.